Hi everybody, it's Amy at Crafty Catch, and I'm back to work on the magazine page where we sanded it and made a collage out of it. So I finished the whole thing. So that's what it looks like thus far. Now we're going to do some mark making and stamping and stuff like that on it. Maybe add like some postage stamps and some other little bits of paper maybe. I don't know, just whatever strikes me at the moment. So, how are you guys? I hope you're doing good. I am having a good day. Just sweating. So I'm going to use a little black acrylic paint. I just want a tiny bit. And then I have like some gesso, just gesso. And this is gesso that I've added coffee and some instant tea to. No sugar in any of that. You don't want that in there. I know that's obvious, but I just say these things because I want to make sure everybody knows. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is just spritz this a little bit. And I've got a stick from an old paintbrush or handle, whatever, stick handle. I just want to... So I saw this collaging thing with the magazines. Amy Bishop was the creator. And she's also got some great videos on like mark making, which this is one of her things where you just kind of move around a paintbrush stick. So I thought I'd give that a whirl because it seemed like a neat way to add a few marks. And I'm just kind of scooting it along, rolling it, whatever. Do whatever floats your boat. And I did glue down a manila file folder on the back of this where I think I want my cover. And I'm just doing a 9x6 cover, so I'm going to have a whole section left over that's can be used for other stuff like tags or whatever. And you just want to do this sort of haphazardly. You don't want to like overthink it or stress about it or anything. It's just mark making. You just get what you get. I mean, obviously you can do some controlled stuff as well. You don't have to do it like that, but that's just how I'm doing it. I'm gonna probably need another piece of plastic. I think I'll do some stamping with some random things that I have. This is the lid off of a Tim Holtz tissue. Any kind of circular, whatever, a jar. These make cool, if you have these glass, kind of like the mason jar, because they've got the dots. And so it looks kind of cool when you just put it here and there. So this will be for my grungy journal. Just something different. Glad you guys liked it. Lots of you said you were going to try it or you have magazines and you're going to try it. So that's fun. I don't have a ton of magazines. I just have some old National Geographics. Well, they're not even that old. But sitting around. So I was like, I might as well use them, right? And then I might add like one of these numbers that we did. I don't love how orange that turned. I'm not really sure why it turned that orange. But let me grab another piece of, this is from when I do stencils on the Glowforge. The pieces that are left over I keep so I can use them for paint or whatever in the world. So that's just the Tim Holtz Scorched Timber rubbed on there, spritzed, and then you can just kind of add some other color to it just to take, it was a little too orange for me. And that was the alcohol ink we did, remember? But see, now all those lines where we sanded are going, are getting marks there. So that's kind of cool. I'm gonna do just a little bit of black too. And this isn't alcohol, or this isn't, distress oxide. So it's gonna be different. Or it's gonna act different because it's a permanent ink. I just want to get a little bit of black. I don't want it like overtaking. See, just a little bit. And that was out of the National Geographic. If you didn't see that video, I'll try to remember to link it in the description box so that you can go back to it. It was just the day before yesterday. But I know sometimes it's hard to find certain videos when you get something in your feed and then you try to find a companion video or whatever. It can be very difficult. The best way to find the videos in order is to go to my channel and then I'll put it right here. Click on videos and it'll put all the videos in order. So that's a way that if you aren't sure how to do that, that's the way to do it. I think I'll do some of this coffee, watered down coffee tea gesso. I'll use a paintbrush. This is pretty loose, so. And you can do this kind of the same way we did the, just dragging it, you know. Basically, we're just trying to add points of interest for the whole thing and maybe get rid of the look of magazine, right? Which I think we've already achieved, but yeah, I probably shouldn't leave this open, huh? I'm gonna end up with gesso in my black ink. That would not be great. And this will just add, you know, texture or whatever. You can use anything you want. If you don't have gesso, just use acrylic paint. I mean, you could just use Tim Holtz inks. You can use what you have. You don't have to have all the things that I have because we just don't all have the same things. Yeah, I was finally able to find her video. I don't know why that was so hard. I've never had that much difficulty finding. I don't know if it's because she hasn't done any recent videos, so even though I was subscribed to her, it wasn't coming up on my feed, and so I don't really know. Anyway, it was very difficult. Much more difficult than it should have been. There's no rhyme or reason sometimes with YouTube. The stuff that sometimes does come up in my feed, I'm like, why? Why would that come up? I guess a lot of it's just what's popular or what a lot of other people are watching or something. I don't know. Now, obviously, if you are doing this at home, you might want to just let stuff dry because, you know, you probably don't want to get gesso on your stamps and stuff like that, but I'm just going for it, so. But that's kind of how I do a lot of things. I have no patience. None at all. Definitely wasn't graced with that. Now let's see what else we got. Do we got anything else that I can add? Maybe some of these kind of numbers that are stamped on pieces of book page. Now, yes, I could probably do this with glue stick too. Doesn't matter. Just grab what you grab. You can see the lines of the glue on that though. That old paper. I always forget about that. Might use some of this. Just for some texture. Now, it might be smart if you're doing this, or it'd be smart for me to do as well, but use like matte medium or something to glue these on. It's probably a better way to do it than this, but. I love projects like this because it's very, there's like no rules, you know, you just do whatever you want. I like that. You can put whatever you want, you can stamp it with whatever you want. Nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Well, I mean, I guess they can, but I don't know how you'd prove that. Okay, want to use some of this ink again. Need some water. Get a little color on those. Use some of the black too. Even though this isn't probably the best black because it's it's weird texture. It's just what I have on here, so I'm going to use it. The Oxide obviously would be better. Is that already dry? It is. The black paint is already dry. That's how hot it is in here. Holy smokes. Is that? I mean, granted, it is all spread out on a piece of plastic, but wow. I'm just trying all kinds of things here. Some of this on here. It's gonna be grungy. At least I know that much. Don't know how fabulous it will be, but it will be grungy. That's Distress Oxide, just the water. Sort of like we did with the alcohol ink. Okay, another thing we're gonna do, crayon. You can use a cheese grater. I do not have a cheese grater that I can do this with, so, because obviously it's a cheese grater you won't be using for cheese anymore, but it works the same to do this. It might be a little cringy. And then this is loud, so turn down your volume if you don't want to listen to the heat gun. Oopsie. Hope that makes sense. They're going to go around. So move into them slowly. But they will melt. Over here. And then we're going to do some of this like we did the other day. You really want to heat your spot first. As you can see, I did move to some spots before heating it. You're not going to get the same effect as if you heat the spot first. Obviously, because that's how the crayon melts. it depends on how little or how much you want. Like the dots are from grading it, or flicking pieces, and then the lines, obviously. And you know, you're probably going to say, well, what's the difference between just using the paint? Why do you use the crayon too? I just want to. It's just different marks, and it does give you a little bit different texture. You'll see the oils and stuff come out of the crayons. I'm showing you, and I'm not even in the right spot. But like here, you can see more of what the flakes will give you, the dots all over, as opposed to, you know, the lines and stuff. But you get that waxiness with using the crayon instead of the paint. So it's just, use whatever you want to use. These are just ideas. This is just, let's have ideas out there so that we can make interesting art, right? Do some stamps, because they are always interesting, I feel like. I have just so many like modern looking ones left, and I don't want them to be modern looking. I want them to have that older look. I like that kind of red color because it's a little more orange, but it's all right. We're going to ink it, so let's start with that. So basically, as you can see, just adding layers on layers on layers. Layers just are always a great thing because it just moves the eye around. You find little hidden things, you know, in a piece of art with a lot of layers rather than just a flat image or whatever. I mean, of course, there are artworks that don't have layers, and that's fine, but I think for these kind of things that we make as junk journalers, I think layers are very important. Because you're thinking about all the old things. At least that's where I think of it. Like if you had a spot where you just kept old things and they started to pile up, and I don't know, you know, a trunk or something. It's layers in there of time. I just think that's interesting. I love looking through old trunks, old drawers, you know, things like that. This one's got writing on it. That's cool. The back's almost cooler than the front. Had I realized that, I probably would have glued it on that way. And this is sort of like any masterboard that we make. It's going to get cut up and all those kind of things. And so, you know, who knows, something could get cut in half, but that's just sort of the charm of it, I feel like. You could, of course, cut out your journal cover the size you want it, and then do this. And then you know that all the pieces you're adding are going to make it onto your cover, right? But again, that's all depends what you want. I'm going to ink this with my walnut stain. It's just a piece of an old letter. I think I will use glue stick because I don't want to see the... This is kind of like a onion skin almost paper, so I don't want to see the paint or the glue. whatever it's called. So what's happening with you guys? Anything exciting, or are you just like melting like me? Melting. That's what we do this time of the year. In the good old US of A. All I can say is thank goodness for no humidity up here. I mean, there's always humidity in the air, but it's not a high humidity place. That's what I mean when I say no humidity. It's out west. Not a lot of humidity here. More than Nevada, but still not a lot. I didn't know how you guys do it. So obviously these are just pieces of book page, letter, whatever. Any old scraps you got to stick down. This one's kind of cool because it's got some of the gold on it from making your scraps interesting, whatever. Stamping them, splattering them, whatever. I also have my Stabilo All, which is meant to be used on paper, glass, plastic, metal. You can write right on it. It is water soluble. So you can use it and then add a little water and it, you know, reacts. So I'm going to try this. They say to hold it near the top. Whoopsie. Okay, then take a water pen and just add some water here and there. And you don't have to do it to all of it. It's just gonna, it spreads out, and that way you'll get some of that gray, blacks, different shades. To make it look kind of stained. Oops, that one's not. That's the crayon. Plus, with the Tim Holtz ink, you know, when you get that wet, it also oxidizes and reacts. You don't have to add as much water as I am. I like it when it gets that kind of gray, puddly thing happening. And by continuing to add layers, you're also going to, rather than looking at it and seeing all the squares or rectangles that we had, it's gonna start to all come together, like look like it's all one rather than a whole bunch of pieces of things. I'll do some white. Put our lid on our glue before it turns to roca, which isn't the same thing. I wanted to see. Again, this is just gesso, adding water. You can also add some of the gesso into that Stabilo All, and it kind of turns the gesso gray, which is fun. They react together. Oopsie, that was a little much. Now, obviously, if you're not making a grungy journal, this may not be your thing. Like, I get that. You got to do what works for you for your art. Just a jumping off point, and you can take it in the direction that you want it to go. Because I'll tell you, Carol and I are doing grungy journals. I can guarantee there will be similarities because we do tend to pick similar things and like make similar pockets or whatever type of thing, but we do have a different style and hers will look different than mine. Okay, I think I'm gonna get this dry because I want to put some ink. Actually, let me see. With the gesso. I like the white, but I like to take it down a notch in spots because it is very, very white. Okay, I'm going to let this dry, go eat lunch, and I'm going to come back. Obviously, it'll be momentary for you, but, and then we'll see how it's looking at that point. But right now, that's what we have right now. So I will be back. Okay, so I've gotten it pretty much dry. There's a couple of wet spots, but that doesn't really matter because we're going to add something else to it. I've decided I think it needs some gold. I really like this little bit of gold that's down here on this scrap. So I've got my watercolors, and I'm just going to use watercolor. I don't have any. I used to use the Winsor & Newton ink, gold ink. But I realized it flakes off after a while, so I didn't buy any more when I ran out. So we're going to use gold watercolor because it'll work just fine. So I'm just trying to load up my brush with enough of that to make some splatters that are gold. I know you can't see it. I'm just over, it's just over here. Getting the gold paint on my paintbrush. Now, obviously, this might not be quite as gold as that. That ink is so cool, but it does flake off, which is really bizarre. But anyway, I don't want it to flake off because what's the point if it just flakes off? There's other gold stuff that you can use, though, if you know, whatever you've got will probably work just fine. I might even do some of that kind of thing again, like we did with the black. I think I need a little more water. Where did I put that? I think this is going to be a fun cover for sure. Different anyway, and definitely grungy. I like the juxtaposition though of adding the gold, and I tend to do that. If you've watched me for a while, you know that when I do grungy journals, a lot of times I add the gold splatters and stuff. I don't know what it is about that, but I really like that look with the grunge. So, but of course you don't have to have that. You can just have the grunge. Oh, did I forget to say hugs and blessings? I think I did, didn't I? Well, if I did, I'm going to say it again. Hugs and blessings to Tracy, Carol, and Pat. Love you guys. Thank you so much for your kind comments. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate all of you. Welcome to new subscribers. And of course, welcome back to those of you who have followed me for a while. Couldn't do what I do without you guys. And I know that, and I appreciate you very much. If you like my channel, I would love it if you left a comment. Like, subscribe, any kind of activity on the channel helps creators' channels be put into the algorithm so that it shows up in people's feeds. So hopefully they watch your videos. So that would be greatly appreciated if you could do that. I get sometimes, you know, I watch on TV too, and it's hard to comment. I have to go back to my phone to comment. So I know that, you know, sometimes you're not going to be able to do that, and that's fine. Just whenever you can, it's helpful. I'll take all the help I can get. That's for sure. I did add a stamp down here and a couple more circles, and that stamp over there. I think we're good now. So now it just is going to have to dry, and I will cut it so that it can be a journal cover. And I'll still have, you can see from the back here, this is going to be a 9x6 journal. So I've cut the piece of manila file folder, put it on there. I will cover that with something after I get it all cut out. But you can see there's lots of extra stuff. So I'll have some pieces left for tags or whatever for my grungy journal. But there it is, all done. So the next time you see it, it will be cut out and ready to go for my grungy journal. I'm not sure exactly when that will happen, but we will definitely get there. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, guys, I hope you have a spectacular day, and I hope you like this idea and give it a try. A lot of you have said you're going to try it, so I'm excited about that, and I hope you'd like it. It's a good way to use up those magazines, because I don't know, what do we do with all this stuff? So anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day, and we will chat again soon. Love ya. Bye.